If you are a fan of Steve Perry, then you know that the past few years have been truly exciting ones. After an absence of more than 2 decades, Steve returned in 2018 with brand spankin' new music. And since that time, he's been fairly active. Last year, Steve surprised fans again with a first ever holiday album titled The Season, and just like 2018's Traces, that album was an emotional and heartfelt trip down memory lane, courtesy of Mr. Perry's own very special brand of West Coast pop rock. What's that you're saying? You know all that? You want me to get to the point about the good news and perish the thought the bad news as well? Alright then, hold on. Let's start with the good news. So, just a couple of days ago, Steve tweeted a fun message that included a doodle of what I believe is supposed to be Mr. Perry himself. Yep, a self-portrait of sorts. Along with demonstrating his fantastic art skills with pen and paper, Steve said this. Here's another one of my sketches because maybe this year one new Steve Perry original holiday song plus one more could be coming. So it sounds like we're getting a new original holiday song from Steve, but I'm a little hazy about what he means by one more. Could it be a holiday classic reinterpreted by Steve? Or does Steve mean a completely new, non-holiday song? While my preference would be the latter, I suspect it's the former, but only time will tell. Alright, now for the bad news. Sadly, it's that Steve and his former bandmates are not on the best of terms right now. It's all legal courtroom mumbo-jumbo stuff that I must confess I only somewhat understand. Something to do with Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain trademarking the titles of Journey songs, many of them composed at least partially by Steve. What I do understand is that the idea of Steve and Neil getting a coffee and burying old wounds is probably not happening anytime soon. Steve has always been pretty upfront with fans about his lack of desire to reunite with his former band, and I really think if there ever was a sliver of a chance, this might be the final nail in the coffin. So moving back from bad news to more good news, Steve actually did reunite with Journey in a weird kind of roundabout way earlier this year, when he assisted Bryce Miller and Troy McCubbin with an extended version of their Separate Ways remix that appeared in Season 4 of Stranger Things. You know, I didn't think it was possible that I could love a remixed version of that song more than the original, but I've got to admit that I do. I really do. It's fantastic. If your preference is to stay away from the scary shows, do yourself a favor and at the very least track down this version on YouTube. I think you'll really enjoy it. Anyone remember when Journey had an arcade game and then a home video game? Those were the days. I know that computer games are so much more complex these days with richer graphics and way more robust storylines, but there was something wonderfully pleasing about the simplicity of those old video games. So getting back to the good news that I shared about new music, what do you think Steve means by plus one more? Let me know in the comments section, and I would be ever so grateful if you clicked on that little thumbs up icon and maybe even subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, above all else, thank you so much for watching.